Jaylen Brown drops 50 in a very on-brand performance. I'll talk about his incredible night right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Beantown, be ever ready. It's the C's. Who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT. Karalis, recap the madness every game, every practice. Prime time, Depp and D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising business, how we finished. Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics, and I talk about them Monday through Friday, plus bonus podcasts like this one when they play on weekends. They've got Saturday games, Friday games, all throughout January. So tons of extra podcasts for you on this channel here. If you're new to the show, I'm John Karalis, beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. I've been covering the Celtics for about 20 years now, and I've written a couple of books about the team. This is a bonus podcast. It'll be an abbreviated one. I'm going to keep it to about 10, 12 minutes or so. Normally it's a half hour, but this, because it's late, it's 3 a.m, and I'm going to talk about it much, much more on the Monday podcast. But for your Sunday listening pleasure or viewing pleasure, if you want to watch the show on YouTube, I got to talk about Jaylen Brown and the 50-point night. We've got to talk about later on the fact that they're now tied in the loss column for the second seed. Individual performances like Derrick White, Jordan Walsh, Anfernee Simons. A lot actually happened in this game. So you'll basically get 2 podcasts about this game, but this one just to get something to discuss this Jaylen Brown night, where 50 points on 26 shots, incredible efficiency. He had it going right from the beginning. He scored 13 points in the first quarter and it never turned it off. He was hitting some crazy stuff. Shots that you look at and you say, well, no one should be taking shots like that, but he was taking and making like just the types of shot. Like Jordan Walsh after the game said, I was standing in their corner just going, wow. And like, yeah, that's the type of night that Jaylen had. The type of game where guys on the floor were probably just like watching and going, is he really doing this? And it didn't matter that you might have been, not playing your most engaged basketball because you're standing there watching Jaylen Brown and he's just making everything. It was incredible. And you want to know, so Jaylen, 50 points, 18 of 26 shooting, 6 of 10 from 3, 8 of 10 from the line, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. But the most incredible stat in all of this, 2 turnovers. In a game where he was just doing everything, just 2 turnovers. And I think those came early on. They were in the first quarter. So 2 turnovers in the first quarter, 0 turnovers in quarters 2, 3, and 4 for Jaylen as he was mounted. That is just on top of what was, I will say, probably the best game I've seen him play. This probably the best game. Just the shooting, but the passing was incredible. He had 5 assists, but I'm going to say that when the full box score tracking data comes out, that he probably has at least 2 or 3 secondary assists. He had to. So he was moving the ball well on top of everything. The only shot that he forced was trying to get to the 50 at the end. So he was playing great, and he was defending. He had some great defense against Kawhi, against James Harden, but he took on the challenge of guarding Kawhi. This is why I think it's the best game that he's played, because the passing was so fluid. The defense was there against Kawhi, who, after dropping 55 and 45 and all of that, held to 22 points on 6 of 17 shooting. That's a really good defensive effort from Jaylen and crew on Kawhi Leonard. So Jaylen was sublime, absolutely out of his mind, incredible. And it's such an on-brand performance for him because he even said it after the game, keep doubting me. Like, it fuels him. He wants to be doubted. So he doesn't get a 50-point night if he wins player of the month. He said it post-game. It would be nice to get that respect, but keep doubting me because it fuels me. He needs something to fight against. He needs to be the underdog. The worst thing that can happen to Jaylen Brown is for him to get all of the accolades. He wants all of the accolades, but getting them would be counterproductive. It is so much better for the Jaylen Brown brand to not get these awards, to not get that recognition, because then he could turn around and have a game like this and be like, see, told you. Right? Like that's the type of guy, that's the type of player he is, that he wants to be counted out so he can have something to rail against. He needs to prove people wrong. That's where he's at his best. So voters, continue not to vote for him for things. Continue not to give him player of the month. Continue not to give him the recognition. Keep him at like 8th on the MVP ladder on NBA.com. Just keep him. Do not give him any accolades at all. Signed sincerely, Boston Celtics fans. Because when he gets them, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, in all honesty, he's going to still be Jaylen Brown. But let's just keep fueling his anger. Let's keep this revenge tour going. Joe said before the game that, now listen, Joe knows that these awards don't mean a thing. They do not matter. He does not actually care about the awards. But he knows Jaylen Brown. And so before the game, he said, yeah, Jaylen should have won that. And I hope he uses this as fuel to takes it out on our opponents for the next month. Like that's, Joe knows player of the month. Who gives a damn about player of the month? Who cares? He got coach of the month. He does not care. Congratulations, but he has does not matter to him at all. And I'm sure he'd love to tell Jaylen, like, who cares if you don't player of the month? What is that? You don't get nothing for that. But he knows if he goes out there and he has Jaylen's back and he's like, yeah, he got screwed on this. Jaylen be like, that's right, I did. You're damn right, coach. I did get screwed on this. Go out there and just start pummeling the opponents. It's just Joe, like that is just primo button pushing from Joe Mazzulla. It was awesome. So Jaylen just, I mean, damn near perfect game. Just unbelievable. It overshadows a lot of good performances in this game. Derrick White, 10 of 20, 5 of 12 shooting, 4 of 5 from 3, 29 points, 7 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. Like early on, the story of the game in the first half was Derrick White being, hitting some shot. Like maybe halfway through the second quarter, it was like Derrick White is on a heater. In fact, at halftime, it was 23 points for Derrick White and 20 for Jaylen Brown. And Derrick was 8 of 13 and 4 of 9 from 3. So at halftime, Derrick White was the story. And in the second half, it just became the Jaylen Brown show. But Derrick was on fire. He was hitting things right away. You could tell that he was feeling it. So another, like, just Derrick had an amazing game. Anfernee Simons off the bench, 15 points, 4 assists. He was 5 of 8 from 3. Everybody that played for the Celtics shot better than 41% from 3, except for Sam Hauser, and he hit his first 2 3-pointers. He started in place of Jordan Walsh, and he hit a couple of 3-pointers, and then he started missing. He was the only one that was missing. Everyone else was hitting. And Joe said after the game that you don't look at it like Jordan Walsh was pulled from the starting lineup. It's that we went with Sam because we knew what their matchups were going to be. We knew what their lineups were going to be. So we wanted to kind of mess up their matchups with, shooting on the floor right away. So in Joe's mind, it's not that Jordan didn't start. It's that he subbed Jordan out before the jump ball and went with Sam, which it's an interesting way to look at it. I think he did it that way because he didn't want to be like, oh, Jordan got benched. But Jordan played great. 13 points, 13 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds. He had incredible defense. He was in there he was part of the defense on Kawhi. It was part of the defense on Harden. He did a really, really good job in this game. So D. White was awesome. Simons was awesome. Jordan Walsh, awesome. Look, he came off the bench. He started the other night and played 5 minutes. He came off the bench in this game and played 30 minutes. So he was really, really good. And it was Ugo that played only 10. So, and then you get like a nice night from Luka Garza, who had 11 points and another 3 offensive rebounds, who was keeping the ball alive and giving the Celtics extra possessions. The Celtics only turned the ball over 6 times in this game. That they took 96 shots and only 6 turnovers. That's beyond incredible to me. They turned the Clippers over 10 times and scored 20 points. They cashed in on almost all of those turnovers. So it was it didn't start out as a good defensive night, but they cashed in on the mistakes that they were able to force the Clippers to make. The Clippers didn't make a ton, but the few that they did were costly. To have only 4 more turnovers than the other team, but to lose the points off turnovers battle by 16, that's incredible. The Celtics did a great job there. So, look, the Celtics are now tied with the Knicks for in the loss column. They're a half game out of second. The next game is going to be tough. The first game back from a long road trip is always very difficult. So I do not expect much from the Celtics Monday against Chicago, but they are playing Chicago, and Chicago is like an up and down. Sometimes they play well, sometimes they don't. If the Celtics look messy and sloppy on Monday, do not be surprised. And the Knicks play the Pistons on Monday. So it's not out of the question that the Celtics could be the second seed when you wake up on Tuesday, which I never thought it would happen. Look, before the season started, I said a 44-win season would be I would be happy with a 44-win season. You remember that the Celtics were trying a whole new play style. We had no idea that Josh Minott was going to be impactful. We had no idea that Jordan Walsh was going to be impactful. In fact, remember, Jordan was not great in the preseason. I thought he was going to get cut. Or he was in line to get cut or traded to save money. And he started out the season getting DNPs. So it's not like it's something that we should have seen coming. It just happened. And he got the opportunity. So the Celtics started 0-3, and Jaylen Brown, remember, Jaylen Brown started the season nursing a hamstring strain. I thought Jaylen was going to miss time. They started 0-3, and I'm like, oh, God, 0-3, and Jaylen is hurt. This is going to be bad. This is going to be tough. And then, I don't know, the hamstring got better, and Jaylen's fine. They are 22-12. Even if things cool off, which, look, I expect them to cool. You cannot just expect it to go this well all season long. But, hey, it's gone this well this long, so who knows? Through 34 games, they have 48 games left. Even if they play just 500 basketball, they'll be a 46-win team. And that's good enough. That will be good enough to get them into the top 6. So the play-in, any fear of playing in the play-in, provided that, there aren't any real catastrophic injuries or long absences, I feel comfortable saying the Celtics will very likely avoid the play-in tournament, which is great. Now it's just a matter of can they get to 50 wins? They're on a 53-win pace. So just incredible stuff all the way around. Joe Mazzulla's coaching, Jaylen Brown being the everything is going perfectly, pretty much for the Celtics. Jaylen is a top-notch, all-NBA level player right now, and just playing out of his mind. You've got guys off the bench, role players playing at a high level. You get Joe Mazzulla coaching. Like, if you're not convinced by Joe Mazzulla at this point, you're never going to be. Like, that's, if you still think Joe Mazzulla sucks, then you are truly, truly a hater. Okay, you can't come around to anything like that. You never will. The Celtics are getting like Neemias Queta. I didn't even really mention him yet, but he had a stretch. Neemias Queta has been great. He's been great, compared to his expectations, especially. So this has been a really fun start to the season. We're now at the beginning of January, so I don't know what else to say. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Tomorrow's podcast will be much more on this game. We'll just continue the conversation about Jaylen Brown. There's no doubt about that. I wanted to get a podcast out. We're at 15 minutes, so a nice, meaty reaction to Jaylen Brown's incredible night, probably the best regular season game of his career. So great night from him. Great night from the guys. We'll see what happens when they come home. Tough stretch coming up. So we'll see how they go. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you're new to the show, welcome aboard. The show is normally 30 minutes long, but this bonus podcast, you get bonus podcasts whenever they play on the weekends. So tons and tons and tons of podcasting coming for you this January. So subscribe wherever you get your podcast, watch the show on YouTube, and then share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.